Hi, I hope everyone's enjoying the beautiful spring weather. It's gorgeous outside. Get outside, enjoy the beautiful Colorado sun. I wanted to share with you a very powerful idea on this week's Torah portion. This week we begin the third book of Moses, known as Vayikra. And this week's Parsha, ironically enough, is also Vayikra. And we find something very interesting in this week's Parsha, as pointed out by many commentators. And that is in the first verse of this week's Torah portion, which says, I'll say it in Hebrew and then translate it to English. It says, Vayikra el Moshe, Vaydaber Hashem elav me'oho ma'id lemar. Vayikra Moshe, Hashem called out to Moshe, and he said to Moshe, saying from the Ohel Moed. And it was going to be all the laws of the sacrifices. And if you look inside a Chumash, a Torah, you'll see that in the first word of this week's Torah portion, Vayikra, which is spelled Vav Yud Kuf Resh Aleph, the Aleph is written smaller. The letter Aleph is written smaller than all the other words in the Torah. And everyone's jumps in over here wondering, why was it written like this? And I saw from the Baal Turim, one of the famous commentaries on the Chumash, and he explains that Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses our leader, had asked Hashem, God, please, when you speak to me and you write it in the Torah, don't write Vayikra, which connotes that Hashem deliberately spoke to me. Rather, take and drop the letter Aleph out of the word Vayikra, which will now read Vayikar, which means it was happenstance. Hashem happened upon Moshe. And we find elsewhere in the Torah that the Torah uses the word Vayikar. And that is by Bilam Harash, by Bilam, the wicked man. When he was hired by Balak to come and curse the Jewish nation, it says in the Torah that Hashem appeared to him. It was happenstance. He was not deserved of this revelation from God. And Hashem came anyways. God came anyways to him because he wanted him to really bless his nation. But Moses wanted the Torah to also write Vayikar, to show that I'm really not so worthy. Hashem just happened. God just happened to me. And Hashem said to Moshe, no, you're the leader. I want people to see that I didn't just choose anybody. I chose somebody that was worthy for leadership. And Moshe Rabbeinu conceded, but he said that let's make it small so people realize there's a difference. And I think that there's a very powerful lesson here that we can all learn. Hashem was trying to show Moshe that a leader really has two very strong things that need to come forward. And there's a Mishnah or Medrash that says the same thing. And the Mishnah says if a leader is too arrogant, he doesn't deserve to be a leader. If a leader is too humble, he's also not a good leader. Hashem's showing Moshe that there's a time to be arrogant to an extent, to realize that you're the leader. You are leading the Jewish nation. You're giving over God's Torah, his word, to the generation. You got to realize that. At the same time, there is a time and place to be humble. And I think this lesson is something that we can all take into our personal lives. Every single one of us is also a leader, be it in the house, be it at our workforce, in our community, in our neighborhood. We're all leaders, and we all need to realize that sometimes we need to take a strong stance a certain way, and sometimes we need to pull back and be humble. And my blessing to all of us is to realize how to use all these unique traits that God has given us in the proper way. Have a Shabbat Shalom.